Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
So I came to let him go back to the sea where he belongs. Maybe to save your silly skins for you.
This is episode 157, recorded July 30th, 2023.
Gruesome Magazine.
My name is Jeff Mohr, and on this podcast we cover the good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode we'll discuss the monster, spirit, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. I wasn't feeling it tonight. With me this week are my incredible co-ghosts. First up is Chad Hunt, co-host of Decades of Horror, the other ones too. Film producer and director with Recap Productions, and a comic book artist and writer. Chad, how are you?
I'm good.
It's so subtle. Subdued.
He's okay.
Even.
I'm good.
Also with us is Daphne, who is awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell, and our expert on wardrobe.
Nice.
Better her than me, I always say.
How are you, Daphne?
Hey guys, I'm doing real good. It's a pleasure to see you as always.
Yes, it is.
Great to see you too.
Good to see me, I mean.
Also with us is the one, the only, Doc Rotten. How you doing, Doc?
Hola. I'm doing good.
So are you?
I don't know why I did that, but hey.
Are you enjoying your time with the classic era?
I am.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yay.
Getting to be a monster. Getting to be a monster kid all over again. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Good to have you here.
Yes, it's awesome with Doc in the house.
Tis. Decades of Horror, Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. All the Decades of Horror are on Play Now Media streaming channels, but in particular, Classic Era can be seen on the Classic Sci-Fi Movie Channel, the Classic Horror Movie Channel, and the Wicked Horror TV Channel. And they have lots of cool stuff on there, like something that's going to be our next movie. What?
Ooh, tantalizing.
Where's the freeze frame button? Oh, anyway. Yeah, check that stuff out. It's God, there's good stuff.
There is.
We've already kind of talked about this, but we did The Nest on 80s a few days ago, which starred Robert Lansing, and we will at some point do the 4D Man, which stars Robert Lansing.
Yes.
And we've done a Robert Lansing movie in the 70s, so he'll be like our 3DOH man.
Wow.
All right.
Trifecta.
Lots of good stuff there. This is a spoiler podcast. This particular film we're doing today is 62 years old. So if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And out here, what we usually do is give some basic details of the film we're going to be covering.
What is wrong with you today?
What?
Get with it. Just get with it.
I haven't had any coffee since the morning. I told Doc I was kind of fog brain, so you guys need to help me out here.
It's brain fog, not fog brain.
Oh.
I'm here to
do it your way. I'll do it my way.
That might be part of it there, right there.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help.
You're doing great,
Anyway,
Jeff.
yeah. First impressions, and move on to general discussion. And somewhere in there, we'll throw in taglines. And oh, have we got some taglines for you?
Dun, dun, dun.
The film we will be doing is Gorgo from 1961, directed by Eugene Laurier, written by, I don't know why they do this, written by Robert L. Richards and Daniel James, but the credits say John Loring and Daniel Hyatt. The cast includes Bill Travers, William Sylvester, Vincent Winter, Christopher Rhodes. Production company is King Brothers Productions, and it was distributed by MGM in the UD in the U.S. It was filmed in Ireland and England. Most in England, a lot was at Borehamwood Studios in London, I believe. Filming dates: started filming September 14th, 1959. And this is where it gets weird. So this was filmed in England, and it was first released in Japan. Can you say kaiju? January 10th, 1961. And in the U.S., March 29th, 1961. And sometime later, I think maybe in the fall at the UK. Budget, $650,000. Domestic box office in the U.S., about $1.5 million in U.S. rentals. Ultimate Movie Ranking said box office itself was $4.4 million. And AKAs, there's just too many of them, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Germany, of course. Gorgo, the Super Bestie. Schlachtzu. I may be missing a word there, I'm not sure, but it's that translates to the Super Beast Strikes. No, that's got all the words. Super Bestie. And Gorgo, often Spüren des King Kong. Gorgo in the footsteps of King Kong.
Oh wow! Well, cool. I like that.
I had to go for it. The synopsis: greedy sailors capture a giant lizard off the coast of Ireland and sell it to a London circus. Then its mother shows up.
Damn those greedy sailors! Arr!
There they were having fun, and then Mom showed up. And there is our little buddy wreaking havoc
What a
So
cutie.
little.
So
around the
cute.
cranes and stuff. All right.
Man in suit! Man in suit!
So this is Doc's pick. Yeehaw. So we'll go to first impressions, and Doc will be first.
Yes. So I love kaiju films, and this is one of the few British or UK kaiju films. I think the other one that we determined was Konga, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. And then I'm searching, but they don't ever put them by country. And I don't know how many more
Is
there's
Reptilicus
Reptilicus.
is that a kaiju?
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll go with it. If that's
Okay.
British, we'll go with it. So there's a few, but not as many as there Japanese or even American for that matter. But this is great. It's just so much corny, goofy fun. It is. We were talking before the show that just get the chance to relive being a monster kid, and Gorgo is perfect for being a monster kid, isn't it, Chad?
Yeah.
And this it's fun to see the man in suit giant monster kind of going down through goes through London Bridge and goes through the all the little just tearing everything up right through the middle of London, and it's fantastic. But there's a reason why I wanted to pick this, and I'm sad that I couldn't find these things I did back when I was in college, because I don't know if many people know that I have actually a degree in commercial art, even though I'm a programmer now and do stuff. But one of the things I had to do was we had to do, Chad, you might relate to this. We had to do a gouache paintings, right?
Mhm.
And gouache is is difficult to use. It's one
Or
of the more
gu-
difficult.
Gauche, as it's
Gouache.
properly pronounced.
It looks like gouache to me, but that's just because. But gouache. So the theme I picked, and they had to be I think we had to do all in black and white too, which interesting. But the one I picked was monster hands. So I had the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the hands coming in, also did Murders in the Rue Morgue with the gorilla hands coming in. And I did this film with the big monster hand at the beginning coming up out of the water. And I wanted to find those because they're somewhere so I could show you that. But I'll have to do that in some future element. But so
Doc's a pretty good artist for anybody that didn't know. He's a pretty good artist.
Not really. I kind of suck. But so this movie has always held that special place because I chose it for that theme. I got an A.
Yay.
Mr. Chad Hutt, how about you? Had you seen this before?
Oh my God, I've seen this hundreds of times. It feels like, but yeah, it's one of my. I love this movie. I love that it's such a blatant ripoff of Godzilla, and and I love the design of Gorgo. I love the huge, gigantic hands he has.
Yes, the big claws.
The big claws, and or he. I don't know if the little one's a he or not, but I love this, that it's got that Jaws 3 twist where that's not the big monster.
That's true. It actually does have the Jaws 3 twist.
Yeah, that's the baby monster. You guys haven't seen the big monster. So yeah,
I guess they do that in Aliens too, technically, right?
Yeah. There's always the little twist at the end. There's not just one. There's 10 billion this time. Which I love. I love that. It's just corny and cheesy, and you hate the two sailors at the beginning. You just can't stand them, how greedy they are. They're all about the money, and they're
treasure hunters. They're treasure hunters. They're getting the treasure, but they.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they kill an awful lot of people for being treasure hunters, or get an awful lot of people killed.
There you go.
So I was rooting for the monster the whole time, and which
really does, doesn't it? It makes
you just root for the monster and it's got one of the greatest crowd evacuation scenes running from the monster that I've ever seen, even in a Japanese kaiju film. I mean, the streets were just packed with people elbow to elbow trying to get down into the subway and run along the streets. And it gave a real good sense of panic and what it might really be like if something like that really happened.
A lot of buildings crushing people.
Yeah, Big Ben gets it in the end, and it's great. It's great. I love this movie.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Daphne, how about you?
I hadn't seen it before, but I really liked it. I love monster movies too, and I loved Little Gorgo. I totally was on Little Gorgo's side. I understand Mama Gorgo, and I was totally. I love Sean and his awareness of how all adults were pieces of shit in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also love the claustrophobic panic scene. I thought that was great. I had a laugh with the continuous multiple tries of how to destroy Gorgo, just one after the other. It just kept going. Different military, different parts of the military making their attempt, never getting any closer. But I thought I loved it. It was so much fun. I was all in. And yeah, I liked Gorgo's suit too. I loved, like, even when it got up close, I loved the close-ups of it, like when they had him on the ship all locked down and stuff and taking him through London. I loved all the textures of his skin and everything. Loved the red eyes. Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun.
It was.
It was.
You know what? I had not seen this before. I'd seen pictures before. I missed most of the kaiju stuff. Anyway, here I am now. So I enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. And yeah, there was a lot of things to pick up from other movies. And I agree about the crowd scene. I was fearing for the kid. I mean, the kid looked genuinely frightened.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, like he was going to get smashed by the mob. So yeah, I had fun with it. And in terms of, it's it's a kaiju movie, so there's a guy in a suit and he's smashing miniatures, but the miniatures had some bulk to them. There was some thickness to the walls and stuff. There wasn't a lot of interior detail, but it still was kind of cool. So,
and the landmarks looked accurate too, at least for what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They didn't look like cardboard miniatures. It was looked like real stone.
The one thing that looked like miniatures was the ship, the destroyer, I think it was, or whatever. No, it was their ship when it was being tossed back and forth in the waves. That looked pretty miniature. But anyway. All right. Well, once again, we keep picking stuff I haven't, seen before, and we get to talk about it. And this is cool. And now I can know what it is. And today it is now time for Taglines with Chad.
That's it? Just one?
I just leave that face up there.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. So, yeah, Taglines with Chad. Let's go for it.
Oh, my God. Are you serious with these?
Look at all these taglines.
Okay. All right. The first tagline for the movie Gorgo is as follows. With a million surprising emotions.
And what are they, sir?
C, the capture of Gorgo shatters the weapons of the mightiest armies. C, Gorgo in captivity. The population paralyzed with terror. The men of science are perplexed. It's alarming and unbelievable. C, terrifying underwater explosion. Just one, wild battles, sunken ships, flooded cities. C, the sensational outcome. Let's ruin it for everyone, revealing the secret. Deleterious revenge of the monster, whatever the hell that means. The most exciting film in the history of dramaturgy.
Seriously, dramaturgy?
Okay, so
that's got to be a British thing.
No, I don't know what it is. It's I translated that off of Spanish poster. All that stuff was on this Spanish poster, and I'm like, I know some of the words aren't right, but I thought
deleterious revenge.
That's fantastic.
I need to start reading these beforehand now. I can see that.
Okay. I think the rest are English ones. So
okay.
Still
there's your million emotions right there, guys.
Yes.
Neither bombs, bullets, jets, or rockets can stop Gorgo, but this little boy knew the secret.
He did.
That's right, he did. No one would listen to him. It's alive. With apologies to Larry Cohen. Like nothing you've ever seen before, except you have.
Yeah.
This is the big one. I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth.
I knew you were going to go there.
Atomic science had foreseen everything except the revenge of ... Gorgo. The most astonishing event in our lifetime, except it's not.
It's not.
Shockingly convincing, incredibly realistic, which it's not. Incredibly realistic, shockingly convincing. See previous tagline.
Sorry about that.
That's so funny. It's just the same.
Yeah, just the same one. Anyway, that's it.
That was a problem with transcription on my end. So, and that's been Taglines with Chad.
Sure has.
I thought it was cool. All right. So now we'll see where all these taglines come
It must
from.
be the brain fog.
Oh my
It
God,
is. It is. It's amazing what I think is funny when the brain fog sets in. All right. So, like nothing you've ever seen before. Now, there's a lot of different posters with different tints and different background colors that all have Gorgo in this same pose.
Technicolor.
So that's the, I guess, the orange one or red.
That's the Godzilla ripoff pose, right? From the
And
first
then
Godzilla movie.
there's this one, and I think, gotta enlarge my screen here. That one is, realization on D. I think that one is, I don't know. I can't tell languages. My brain is foggy. Une production, isn't that, is that Spanish? No help. But it's a little more colorful. It's got pastels and stuff behind the creature. Missiles exploding, whereas on this one, they're like flame colored. Here's a couple of landscape or maybe lobby cards. This is the big one.
I like that.
But I think all we can see is the hand, so it's like the big hands, I guess.
I like it.
The typography looks good too. Like Gorgo.
And then this is the one on top is the one that says CCC down in the fine print in the bottom right.
No wonder you had a bad time translating that.
Willing to go to any length. And the next one there, Canaveran Yavrusu, that's Turkish.
Oh, neat.
Kind of a photo thing, not particularly delightful. And then
Gamera.
That looks like camera. It does. Oh man, that's terrible.
Gorgo the monster. That's Gamera the monster.
No, that has to be much later.
But at Big Ben.
Yeah, well, it's got the right cast, so it just somebody decided that looked better.
I don't know.
That's so funny.
And then this is French, I believe.
Du jamais vu.
Purple background or blue or however you want to. A little
I
more.
don't remember him once breathing fire. But I guess if they're willing to put Gamera in the poster, Gorgo can breathe fire.
Really. Well, that's like an explosion going on behind him, I think. At least that's what I'm guessing. Now, Italian, right? Italian.
Ooh.
Just a little bit out of scale, but you know what the heck.
Yeah, but
As are all
it's
kaiju.
cool.
It is. There's planes flying. There's an aircraft carrier. There's boats.
Just the ripple from that gigantic hand coming out would have overturned all these people.
I know. That hand is like the size of the whole Gorgo, I think.
He got his nails done. So.
Yeah.
And this one is a really old school VHS.
Oh wow. Oh, look at that. It's cool.
And now we get to what's kind of the interesting part. Well, first, Famous Monsters in Filmland. A bad one.
I do remember that.
Issue 11.
11.
That was definitely, well, for me, it was in the back bin, but I didn't get it when it came out for sure. But
and then we were talking beforehand. I read about this, and I don't know if you guys ever saw any of these, but Charlton Comics had a run of Gorgo comics that I don't know how many there were. About a year,
I think there were like 12 or 13 issues. Yeah, but I never bought any of them.
Okay.
But
Monster from the Sea.
Well, I found a wiki that had all the covers and had a synopsis and all the participants. So that top one, who did I say that was, Chad?
That's Dick Giordano, I believe.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And the bottom one is Steve Ditko, famous for co-creating Spider-Man.
Right.
Wow.
And Doctor Strange.
So those are, I believe that's number 1 and number 2.
I really like the Gorgo on the top one. It's so weird looking.
Mm-hmm. But it looks exactly like the one in the movie.
It's so
Large hands,
great.
large
Yeah.
head.
You still
So
got
yeah,
calls up.
this thing was in the media kind of all over the place. So
Cool.
Well, I mean, it was Technicolor. Was this before we got to see a Toho in Technicolor?
before we got to see what?
Any of the Godzilla?
Probably, because
Probably, right?
this came out after. This would have came out after Godzilla Raids Again.
Was Rodan in color?
I was thinking mainly Godzilla, but yeah, Rodan.
Okay.
I can't remember if Rodan.
Mothra was. I don't
Which,
know.
Can't remember.
As a
I've
matter
never
of fact,
seen Mothra in black and white.
So
Rodan.
these guys, these King brothers, were like slot machine kings.
Really?
May or may not have been hooked up with organized crime, but anyway,
Oh, no way.
started making this stuff. They started in like 1941, and this is getting towards the end. They did that when we already talked about this, Captain Sinbad, that starred Guy Williams, the cop that played Zorro and the father on Lost in Space, and
Yeah.
he was the cop in I Was a Teenage Werewolf. They also did the Maya series. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
Jay North.
I remember Jay North, but I don't remember.
Jay North and his buddy, and I can't remember what his name was, if it was Haji or Rajid or something like that. Indian boy, they were traveling India on their elephant, Maya, having adventures. And I can't even remember what they were doing. I think it was only one season, but they did it.
How dare they?
And I believe they did the Rodan is listed under their stuff, and so I'm thinking it was they're the ones that got John Carradine to come in and do the monologue in between scenes.
Oh, man.
So American audiences could stand it, but they did some. They did a couple of cool ones. So Gun Crazy, which is a really good film noir. It's really good. Highly recommended. And then one called Dillinger. And Lawrence Tierney stars as Dillinger.
Wow.
A suitably bad dude playing Dillinger, I think. Badass dude. So anyway, just a few westerns, a few film noir violent things, some other things. Circus of Love. I don't know what that is, but anyway. Yeah, so interesting. And one of them was like Chad always does. Frank, I don't understand this. How could the Kozinskis?
I always say that.
Their name was the Kozinskis. They changed their surnames to King. The brother Frank, and I don't understand this description. Frank was like, that's just silly. Anyways, he was 300 pounds, always had a big cigar in his mouth and a drawer full of Hershey bars.
Full of Hershey bars?
Yeah. Always wondering why he was so fat, because he says, I don't eat. Brother Maurice had been a prize fighter. He was always had black coffee, but was also kind of heavy. And I can't remember if he was the one. There was three brothers. One of them was kind of a tag along. One of them did books, and the fourth one the third one was the guy with the cigar. Anyway, kind of weird. But let's move on to the actual movie here.
Well, I have a question. Something
Yes.
I want to propose, or something I noticed about this kaiju film, this Gorgo, compared to a lot of the previous or the forthcoming kaiju films. Unless I missed it, this was more like a Loch Ness monster-y kind of thing, more like mythology than it is from nuclear radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is makes it, a lot different in tone and meaning, and it's more nature than it is
Right.
Science, right? So
the kid was calling it Orga, based on an old god or some old story that he heard about Orga of the sea or something like that. And but they even brought in the name Gorgo, based it off the Gorgon, the
Gorgons, Greek mythology, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting. I found it interesting.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't really have that.
So yeah, they were released by the volcano, right? This volcano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did have like a little volcano at the beginning of it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Which also belched for some other weird.
Yeah, some weird rubber fish floating around as they were going into town there.
Yeah, the very obvious. Stop that.
I was trying to help. But the kid, the way the kid describes it, they've been there all along, though, right?
The fish?
No, the Gorgo. The Gorgo.
Well, the kid has this legend, but I don't know.
Right.
They asked him if you've ever seen it, and he doesn't say anything. I don't think he answers them, does he?
No. Nobody had seen it prior. No. Yeah, they did have the weird rubber fish that they swim by too, right?
Yeah.
Belched forth from the earth. Well,
like the way the one guy picks the fish up out of the water, looks at it, drops it back, and goes.
Yes, right there.
They were goofy looking things.
What was that?
I don't think that's his fin he's grabbing there.
Well, I know, and then it had a weird long thing came out of its mouth too.
Yeah.
But it looked everything like a piece of foam rubber.
Yeah.
It did not. But hey, what the heck? They tried, and they grossed us out. They grossed me out anyway. Well, and there's little Gorgo. Their underwater photography left a little to be desired.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't a lot of it, but yeah.
No, there wasn't a lot. Well, when the guys were underwater, it's like you couldn't hardly see. But and maybe that's the way it really was. I don't know. Or maybe, like Bill says, they put some milk in the water and it clouded up.
Well, volcano had just erupted, so it's not going to be the clearest water. So.
All right. Well, let's talk about Eugene.
Well, that was a deep dive.
He interesting guy. He was born in Russia and he's was French, and I think The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was his first directing job. And this was Gorgo was his last directing job. And then he went on to do production design and art department stuff. He kind of got pegged with this giant creature thing. I mean, you see what his Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is at, like 52.
I can't remember.
53, yeah.
So from there to 61, he did 4 of these.
Yeah.
Giant Behemoth was a great film.
Colossus New York is interesting. It's not a creature movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
I've never seen it, and I've always wanted to, but I can't find it anywhere.
I saw some clips of it. It does look very different. And then,
I read that the giant behemoth, when it dies at the end, his daughter cried because she loved the monster so much, so he decided to let Gorgo live at the end of this.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And that's another thing that's different about this one, in that it has a happy end.
Gets away at the end.
Well, happy ending for the monster. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. The monster's sympathetic far more than
Yeah.
far more than usual.
So also, so after this, he got into, like I said, production design, and he worked on 2001 and Burnt Offerings.
Burnt Offerings. That's a favorite.
In terms of stuff that we've done. Trying to think of what else he did. Oh, he was art director for Kung Fu, the TV series. And here's a connection with 70s. What's the Matter with Helen? Directed by Curtis Harrington. And we just did The Killing Kind. And took some crap for that. And then...
we did. That's hilarious.
We did. Krakatoa East of Java, and won an Oscar for that. So that's what he really enjoyed doing. So all this, the other stuff built around directing, kind of got out of that. So Confessions of an Opium Eater, which starred Vincent Price.
What?
So yeah, what's what did you think of that? I thought it was pretty good, actually. The direction.
Yeah, it was a well-made film.
It did feel British.
Yeah, it did. But for a kaiju film, it didn't feel. I don't know if cheap is the right word, but it felt like the production value was very good in it.
It had a budget for the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they took it, even though it's campy, now they took it seriously. I mean, the story is taken seriously. Nobody's, there's no tongues and cheeks. There's no.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, and they had a lot of interesting, I don't know if you say sets or scenes. I mean, they had stuff on the island. They had stuff in the water. They had stuff in the city. I felt like they covered all sorts of...
and the circus thing.
Yeah, the circus. There's lots of different backgrounds and sets. And I definitely felt like there was a feel of being out doing scavenging stuff. And then also in the big city, at the same time. And each one felt genuine. Yeah,
it does follow the King Kong model pretty well. Go to an island, find a monster, bring it back, exploit it. It goes crazy. Except for
they did a really good job of changing the scale of everything once the parent Gorgo came along, and you really got a sense of the scale.
I love when they explained it. The scientists explained it.
Yeah, that's the mommy one. This is the baby.
Now there it is down at the bottom. It's like, look, 100 feet tall.
What scientific genius?
And the general goes, "You guys can leave. We'll call you when you need you."
Exactly.
They never did explain how they knew it was a juvenile, or what do they call it? Infancy. It's when in its infancy. I'm like,
yeah. All of a sudden, they know all about the biology and everything.
Well, look at the study material they had to go by. I mean, that's so intricate. I don't understand it myself.
I don't know. It really made me do the math, though. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be huge.
They literally go, this is the big one. Yeah. This is the little one.
You see him pointing at the picture. The general gets so pissed off. It's so funny. But
you're right. I love how they dismissed the two guys. Yeah, you guys can go now.
Yeah.
You've screwed up enough. Go ahead.
And I liked how the young one left a trail, because the other scientist dude made him pour water on it to keep it moist.
Yeah.
And so it left like a trail of phosphorus.
So it left like a track?
Like a track, like snail track.
Awake.
Well, and I love how Ryan was like, oh, well, they told me to put water on him. I'm like, God, you're such a jerk. Captain Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, they were kind of like, I mean, to a certain extent too, the Captain Ryan was a little like the Armstrong character in King Kong. And the other guy was more like the Bruce Abbott character, I think.
Which I think they were lovers secretly.
I guess. And I guess that makes the little boy Fay Ray. Is that?
Yeah, well, okay. Yes. Now there's it. Okay. Daphne, back me up on this. There's no female cast.
That's right.
Yeah. Not
Except
at all.
Except for like a couple of background people that that have dialogue at the beginning. There's no female cast.
That's why I say maybe these two had a little something going on.
Something.
Yeah.
Never know.
They spent a lot of time at sea.
Yeah, even like on the island, there was you could see a couple of women in the background, but everybody, you're absolutely right, Doc. No one.
So
I
not too much on the clothes here.
No, there wasn't. There really isn't.
Comment about that.
I could comment about the pants, but I'm not going to.
Oh my God. What was that? What was the guy's name from Crab Monster? Beach
Dickerson.
Beach Dickerson.
Beach
Dickerson as Muscles McGee.
Why did the Navy wear such bell-bottom pants? You find stuff out, right?
Because they're wearing sandals under.
Anywho.
And then the scientist, not the scientist, but the archaeologist, right? The guy that was on the island. He was a
McCarran, yeah.
He was a bit of a little shit as well.
Well, everybody was out there. Hey,
I know.
I'm the harbor master.
Right.
You got to leave within 24 hours unless you have a permit, and I ain't giving you a permit.
No, he had a lot of goodies in his back room too.
He did. Oh, this is all old, worthless stuff. I'm sorry. A Viking sword from thousands of years.
No,
Is
he
that
knew.
worthless? I want that.
He knew.
That's why you need that giant safe.
Yeah,
there.
polished up gold stuff was in the safe. Yeah.
I believe I'd have shot these two before they had me open the safe for them.
They weren't real serious about gaining riches, were they?
No.
Not that serious.
They weren't very good at it.
So these are what I would consider to be the three leads. We've got Bill Travers, which was Captain Joe Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And William Sylvester played Sam, who I'm not sure what his background was.
Sam Slade? That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, Sam Spade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the boy was played by Vincent Winter. And these guys all are kind of interesting. So Bill Travers goes on to be in the Born Free movie. And he's married to...
With the lions?
Wow, I forget her name. He's married to the woman who was they played the lead couple in the Born Free movie.
Born Free.
And that like turned him into a big animal rights person. And for the next decade or two after Born Free, they worked on documentaries and had their own production company and made these, documentaries and animal related movies.
Like Gorgo.
Yeah, well, that might have been his first inspiration. I don't know. But I just thought that was weird. His wife's name was it's Virginia something. I feel bad because my brain is
McKenna.
foggy. Virginia McKenna. Yeah, I should remember that. It's my granddaughter's name. So yeah, interesting how his career went. He became less and less interested in acting and more interested in animal rights, and she was very active in it already too. So
I remember watching that movie as a kid and swore I'd never watch it again because it made me cry.
Yeah.
Well, then they had documentaries after it that told you what happened, basically.
11 years ago in London, England, a giant amphibious being invaded London Bridge, destroying Big Ben. And then at the end, play the Born Free music as Gorgo and his baby are going back into the war.
So they had. So why is that there? Okay, it must be under the producer. I love these. The lions are free. That's the first one that came after Born Free. Then the lion who thought he was people.
The lion that wore tennis shoes.
The lion
That darn lion.
That darn lion. Yeah.
I think they
Lions
did
from
a
outer
couple
space.
Disney
the
episodes.
lion from outer space. Is that what you
Yeah.
Herbie the lion.
And the other guy,
The apple dumpling lion.
Sam Slade,
I've seen all.
is William Sylvester. He was in 2001.
Oh, Billy Sylvester.
Yeah. But he also did 4 episodes of $6 Million Man. And he was in a series called the Gemini Man.
Yeah, I remember that.
About a guy that had a watch that if he pressed the button, I think it stopped time for 15 minutes or something like that. Or no, you went invisible for 15 minutes.
Was that it?
Yeah. And then there was a movie that was like the pilot movie for that, but it only lasted for like 11 or 12 episodes. And then he made some horror flicks in the 60s.
Devil Doll
and Devils of Darkness. One of them is a vampire movie. Anyway.
They both looked really familiar to me, but when
did.
I was doing research, I didn't really, nothing jumped out at me.
What is the Devils of Darkness? Interesting.
Is that the vampire one?
No, that's is it a vampire or witches? Well, I guess it is vampires. It's a.
It looks like a witch coven, but it says vampires in the synopsis.
Secret vampire cult. There you go. There you go. Yeah, right there. Then Devil Doll's got that creepy.
Yes. That's on my list.
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist, yes. Oh my God. It's so.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that, and it's like it walks. It walks on stage. I'm like,
yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Mhm.
It is streaming in the classics, I think, because I thought about watching it a couple times.
That's one Santos would love, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, you guys did magic, right?
We did magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had to do magic.
It's another fear I'm reticent to.
Are you?
Dolls moving around.
There is something just creepy about that, right?
Yes.
That and
something. How about all of it? All of that's creepy.
Something creepy about that. Yes, there is indeed. So yeah, those are the main ones. And that kid was famous. God, what was the name of that movie? Was it The Little Kidnappers?
Wasn't that famous? Because I don't remember.
Well, he got it. Him and this other kid take care of a baby, and I forget why the baby is abandoned. But the two of them, it was such a big thing in like 1950 that the two of them got honorary Oscars.
Oh wow.
And that's Vincent Winter. The Little Kidnappers. Yeah, that's what it's called. 1953.
That's cool, you guys.
It's got Adrienne Corey in it.
What does?
The Little Kidnappers.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, she would be in Vampire Circus in the.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
That's what we do here.
Tangential.
Connected.
Well, as production manager, he did a lot of stuff as production manager later on. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Color Purple, Henry V.
You're talking about Laurier? Oh no,
no,
the kid. Yes,
the kid. Yeah,
He grew up.
yes, that's right. That's very good.
Superman 2, Superman 3.
For your eyes only.
Mm-hmm.
And Santa Claus the movie.
And assistant director for Superman.
Magnum PI.
Yep.
Computer.
The Dark Crystal.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Are You Being Served? Oh, that's funny.
Born Free.
That is a very bad.
The TV series.
Oh, the TV.
Now that's weird.
There was a TV series.
I call that a coincidence.
Oh, there was. It starred Gary Collins and Diana Muldaur.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I'm just wondering if that's the. See, I can never remember that stuff. Like there was a movie called Three for Texas or something like that. And then they did a TV show of it. And I always get the leads confused. I can never remember which one was the lead in the movie and which. Okay. And you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. So
You got a lot of stuff in that head there.
I know.
Everybody should feel like
all of it.
Oh, I can't get past the fog.
I know.
The crystal in there, like fogging everything up.
A rare glimpse inside the head of Jeff Mohr.
I asked my wife about, what is she watching? I don't know. Well, how can you be watching something you don't know what it is? If I remember,
I don't know.
And I got something else has to leave, There's only room for so much stuff in my head. And apparently, I got too much.
You got something important fell out.
Yeah. Connection. So I got tons of Gorgo stuff here, all kind of in no particular order. I guess we looked at this. Wasn't there a couple scenes, and I was trying to find a picture, but I thought there was a couple scenes where it looked like it was foaming at the mouth almost. Like there was foam around his bottom of his teeth.
There was a tongue in there that went.
Was that the kid or the mom?
I think
Which one was it?
The kid. The kid hardly said anything. Oh, you're talking about the Gorgo kid.
Yeah,
talking about
no, that'd be funny. He's like Sean.
He was foaming at the mouth, but he didn't say anything.
I'll turn into
the kid kaiju.
I was a pre-teen
little Gorgo.
Yeah, there's Mama Gorgo and Gorgo Jr.
Which they'll be referred to for the rest of the
film. That's a great shot, I think. That truck hauling.
Yes, I love that. I love those shots.
That had to be some kind of a promotional thing they did, and they just filmed it as part of the movie. You think because it looked like that.
I found out. I think it's in our notes. They did it on a Sunday, and back then the streets would be almost empty on Sundays.
Yes,
depending on where you live, it might be now. So they did it just had extras, so they were able.
Wow.
To
Okay.
But yeah, isn't that great? When it's
I
big and practical.
Yeah. Eyes lit up.
And I really, I don't know. I just really felt for Gorgo. They're all drugged up and driven around in front of the masses.
And then what always happens?
Was
that King Kong or not? The photographer runs out and takes a flash.
Oh,
yeah.
Jackass. I know.
Stop it. You're going to piss him off.
Why'd you do that?
That was a dumb thing to do.
And then he hightails it out of there.
Yeah, he's the first one to get out of it.
I know.
Whoops.
He comes running in full tilt. And,
Classic.
Knew what he was doing, I guess.
So
paparazzi.
Yeah, so the one in the middle is the I don't know, what was that? A swimming pool they put him in?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Some sort of containment. Don't worry, we've got him contained.
Right.
Yeah.
Those chains are made of chromium steel.
With a teeny little bit of water at the bottom.
When he gets out, he goes to take out the roller coaster, I think. Some kind of.
Well, you could tell it was pissing him off from where he was standing. I'm gonna get that roller coaster.
Wood.
Oh, look at
nice close up.
This is what I mean. Look at that. That looks so cool.
Yeah, it does.
It's just
a lot more detail than the actual suit did.
Well, first the guys, the fishermen, or I guess they're divers. I don't know. It's kind of are out with torches looking for their lost buddy, and then later on, there's a fire, and our two heroes, so to speak, jump up and throw flaming pieces of wood at at him, and then everybody joins in. I don't know.
Fire.
I wish I had some pictures of. We'll get to it here in a minute. So I guess we looked at that one. That was I don't know, cranes or something. Yeah, so that one was kind of cool too. I think with all the
Piccadilly, is that Piccadilly Circus?
Piccadilly
I guess.
Circus, yeah.
Kind of looks like 42nd Street.
A big Gorgo sign in the middle.
Yeah.
42nd.
And taking out London Bridge, and
London Bridge.
I don't know what this building is. The bridge is gone, our
I know.
centuries-old landmark. Oh. And there's going.
I
from
did
Big
that.
Ben. So the flamethrowers. The
Oh, no.
flamethrowers. I just was like, the way they cut those, it was like they'd show him walking, and there'd be barely any flames coming out. And then they'd flash to the monster, and he's covered in flames, and then go back to the guys with
Those
the
were
flamethrowers.
for a 200-foot monster. That was some gigantic flames coming out of that flamethrower.
I know. They did not.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the people watching that immediately
Yeah.
got set on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
The
was
guys
so
that were
funny.
hanging out down at the
So
bottom
funny.
by the river.
There's always some idiot that's standing around getting swiped by a tail or something like that. You see something like that coming, you're not going to stick around. And these guys are like,
Yeah. Oh.
It was bad. Well, and I will say, it all comes down to the fact that they should have listened to the drunken sailor instead of the admiral. And it would have been over a lot sooner, right? I guess there wouldn't have been a movie. Because the drunken sailor is trying to release the baby.
Right. Yeah.
Listen to Sean. Sean knew
Exactly.
what
Sean knew
Yeah,
it from the
Sean
beginning.
knew what and the kid, yeah.
to do. Kept trying to.
The admiral goes, "Don't worry, we can take care of it."
Yeah. That's always
what
the
did
way.
Sean say the one time? You're doing something real stupid here. I'm telling you.
He did.
I'm only
did.
10, but I know.
Shut up, kid. We're in this for the money.
But you're right,
Yeah.
Daphne. I think you said it. They start off with, I don't know, what do they start off with? They start off with artillery. And,
Yeah, it's just one right after the. I think they start off with the Navy, right? With
Yeah.
the,
Oh,
the-
you're right. You're right. There's that.
Yeah.
I thought I had that.
And they
picture.
had to.
They go through every single service.
Yeah. The admiral, I think it was like, don't worry, we can destroy him all right. You just
Right.
get out of here. Blah, 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 blah.
No
Then
one
the
can
next
survive this. Yeah.
Thing, yeah. And then the next thing you know, he's
bubbling up out of the
trampling
water.
at Piccadilly Circus. Nothing's working.
Yeah. But at that point, I'm like, go, Gorgo. Go, Mama Gorgo.
Mhm.
Take them all out.
I thought I had the shot of with the big ship, but anyway, yeah, they're firing death charges or shooting, doing all kinds of stuff, and then boom, the ship's capsized, and the ship's been capsized, and they've all gone down with the ship. Oh.
Well, there was
Still
a-
got
Admiral
money
looks
though,
around
right?
like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble."
And I love the constant on the planes taking off of the carrier. I just was waiting for Tom Cruise to come out at some point. It was just in and out constantly.
Mhm.
Just I don't know how many took off, how many landed.
We got
It
to
was
see every
major.
one of them take off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. And there was major continuity problems because the planes they showed taking off were not the ones they showed flying.
No.
They were different planes. Then they had the rocket launchers. They had that battery of rockets they were shooting, and then the plane. They just went one after another, and finally they just got to go. Oh, we're
Right.
screwed.
Yeah.
Now we're down to praying. is the radio announcer.
Get into the subway. Get into the underground.
Now we're down to praying.
The music
You
was
know?
great, I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did like the crowd scenes. I thought those were really, really, vibrant and alive. Like we were talking about the mob scenes.
I mean,
but even at
shoulder
the
to shoulder.
yeah, and even at the circus, how they're all packed in there. I mean, you could just feel
Mhm.
like all these people gawking at Gorgo and eating their cotton candy and
Yeah. If you were to
You
do
know?
that today and say we've captured a monster, prehistoric monster from from before time, I'm sure half the people now wouldn't show up. Pretty much like they did. There's aliens. Aliens are real. Yeah, I don't care.
I know. They were so indifferent. It's not like we've been catfished by the government for so long. We don't care anymore.
Yeah, but Pizzagate.
I don't care anymore.
You want some more ice cream?
But
There's aliens.
But the guy that they get to run the show, he just looks around and like everybody's just like a little dollar sign to him. He's just,
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just looking around. Oh, it's
Yes.
packed. Oh!
I love his pitch out there. What's that you say, madam? He looks like your husband? You'll have to come up and see.
He loved his job.
He did. Apparently there was a paperback tie-in too.
3. No,
3 of them?
that was for there was one for Gorgo. What's the other one? A couple of other British horror films, kaiju films like this, and it was so full of sex and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh!
They took them off the market. I think the King brothers sued them or something like that. And took the books.
The
off
novel
the
tie-ins, the
Yeah.
novelizations. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
But there's no female cast.
Exactly.
No,
That's why I say, you never know.
they actually to the point of where it says, where did I just read that? I hate that.
Yeah, me too.
I literally just read it. Now it's gone.
That is the worst.
The voice.
It disappeared into the fog. Oh, at 35 minutes into the film, they actually mark it by the time. The only 2 actresses with spoken dialogue.
There you go.
There were 2.
Well, they
spoken
probably
dialogue.
I think they were together in the same scene, sharing dialogue. Yes. No.
Are we talking about
I
man?
missed that.
Yeah. So anyway, well, what else? You had final thoughts, or do you want to? We got other stuff you want to talk about here?
Okay. So, what was the connection between this and Hammer Films?
I don't know.
When they're going down the street, the mummy is on the billboard.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
In Piccadilly Circus, it shows the Hammer version of the classic film, The Mummy.
Oh no, he
That
was in. I'm
means
sorry. The
nothing.
carnival guy was in. I'm sorry. The carnival guy was in The Omen, and I think he was in a James Bond movie, but I'm not.
Dorkin. I love that name.
Dorking.
I know a guy named Dorkin. Evan Dorkin.
Oh, yeah.
The circus.
Pretty talented. Did a lot of the magazines from the 70s, right? And 80s. Covers. Is that the right one?
He did Milk and Cheese.
Oh, no. I
don't
think
know
it's
if you ever
somebody
read
else.
that one.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I'm
Anyway.
thinking of the painter.
He was in Goldfinger too.
Just like, stop talking comics!
I thought he was in a James Bond movie, but I couldn't find it.
What's that got to do with comics?
I'm sure there's a Classics Illustrated of Goldfinger.
If not, there should be.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is cool. Now we'll have to do Conga too at some point. Huh?
Yeah.
That's the other.
Gotta do Conga.
I really liked it. I really thought this was a fun. It was fun, and it was fun seeing it in a different environment.
Mhm.
I thought it
It's
was a
fun
great
movie to
monster.
watch,
Yeah,
yeah.
great monster movie.
Yeah, I mean, the like you said, we said earlier, the special effects, even though it's a man in a suit, are top notch. The sets are, they look great. I mean, when he destroys Big Ben, it looks like he's destroying Big Ben. And going
Well,
through the bridge. I mean, they did a great job.
They stick him to being a giant monster man in the suit, as opposed to later Toho stuff where they actually just look like men in miniature sets wrestling around.
Well, that's true. There's no wrestling here.
This one they keep what do they say? They did that. They overcranked the camera speed, so then when they played it back at the regular speed, it slowed them the monster down. So the guy who did the music's name is Angelo Francesco Lavagnino, I think. Yeah, over 200 credits. So I thought he did a great job. I mean, it fit perfectly with the topic, the plot. Oh, and then there was the guy, The End Is Nigh.
Yes.
No, there was.
Repent.
He got like run over by all the people.
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah.
So he was in Lady Hawk and War Games.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Oh.
Okay. I guess
Same
it got
as
better.
John Wood. So anyway,
We should mention the guy that was in the monster suit is Bob Buro. He was a puppet animator. I can't tell you if he did anything else, but there's also, and Chad will appreciate that, there's a connection with this and Kiss, the rock band Kiss.
Ooh.
Gene Simmons' snake boots were modeled after Gorgo.
Those head,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, those big boots in the 70s. Yeah.
Oh,
he's a big monster movie fan. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna have to check those out. I just thought cool boots. I didn't know they were like inspired by him.
Right.
Monster.
Like dragons or something, but no, they're Gorgo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I wonder if they're as detailed as, because I know I already mentioned it a couple times, but I loved the texture on Gorgo with the close-ups and stuff. All the little kind of reptilian scaly bits, and that was awesome.
Yeah, that one close-up was just wow.
Yeah.
You got a lot of detail in that. And really cool.
Oh, I just thought it was great.
Yeah. Underappreciated.
Except by us and Gene Simmons.
Yes.
Now I gotta
Monster
get a
Kids.
look at those. Yeah, I gotta get a look at those boots.
They're not nearly as detailed as this, though. They're just pretty.
So this was apparently a big hit in Japan, and
nice.
They said that they originally it was going to be co-produced in Japan, but the deal fell through. So then I don't know whose idea this was, but they were going to shoot it in Paris and have it production in France. But then somebody realized, he'd have to walk. How far would he have to walk inland to get to Paris? So it went, probably not a good idea.
Oh man, you have to go through Normandy. Needs wings. Wings.
Cool monster.
Yes.
He's
go watch
looking, but he's cool.
Go watch this now. Go watch it now.
Yeah.
It's on TV as we speak. Among probably.
It's only an hour and 15 minutes or so. Moves at a pretty good clip. And it does. But it's typical. I mean, they copied the Toho stuff with the military. They just had to throw everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
They would admit that they didn't know.
Yeah, that's the only part where I started being like, it's kind of the pace kind of slowed down for me was that part. But otherwise, I thought it was great. Great pacing, just nice.
Well, the only thing that was interesting about that was the ships didn't work. Okay, let's. What else we got? They rolled out the tanks too.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's right. And they said, it's interesting, Doc, because you were talking about how it wasn't atomic bomb wasn't the cause, but because they said, and this caught my attention. Oh no, atomic bombs we can't use those, but we've got tanks. But they specifically said, we can't bomb them. We can't, not in a populated area. We can't use the atomic bombs, but we do have tanks.
Yeah.
So.
Not like the Americans.
We blew its damn head off.
So anyway.
Populated.
Check it out. Well, we do have some feedback. Yes, we do. And one is my friend Andy L. And he responded. So I'm just going to refresh people's memory. We had that one comment from Unknown, Unowen, about the skeleton of Mrs. Morales, episode 131, which was a year ago.
It was a very good movie.
Giving us a hard time about how long the episode was, and Siskel and Ebert could do like 6 reviews in 30 minutes, and who has time to do this? And I think Mikey Z defended us a little. Well, Andy L actually has some interesting things to say. So I don't know who wants to read Andy's.
I'll read it.
Go for it, Chad.
All right. This first one is the Redux. That's Andy.
Skip that part. Go down
Skip
to
that
response. One? Yeah.
Okay. This is Andy's response to that. Hi, crew. Sorry that I didn't note the specific episode, but I know someone had written in complaining that the review you did was longer than the actual movie. Frankly, I never considered any of the decades to be review podcasts. I also think of it more as a dissection, autopsy, or perhaps vivisection would be more horror appropriate.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I've been thinking a lot about that. I really like vivisection.
We vivisect movies here. We don't. Yeah. While opinions and summaries are often included, the gist of the episode is to analyze what is behind the movie, whether that is details on the author, director, writer, cast, producer, or even the general zeitgeist of the time it's made and the impact of the movie in horror history. This is what makes your episode so enjoyable, along with the banter of the co-hosts. First of all, Chad Hunt, and then he doesn't give anything after that.
Well, that's understandable.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. If the listener wants a review, they should look elsewhere for brief recap or check Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb percentages. But frankly, not every good movie is universally praised, and this is what makes your discussion so useful and entertaining. Hearing different opinions can often drive one's viewing selections, and frankly, I love hearing other opinions on things I've already watched in the past, and sometimes motivates me to go back to. So do I, Andy. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I often have a lot more on my want-to-watch list than free time as it is, but thoroughly appreciate all you do. Thanks as always, Andy L. Thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you, Andy L.
P.S. Thank you, Jeff, for the Frederick Brown shout-out. Yes, I do have Screaming Meanie 58 on DVD, but did enjoy Bird with the Crystal Plumage a bit more, although, as often happens, the book is better than both adaptations, in my humble opinion. Cool.
Nice.
Andy, and I think Gregory Crosby is the other one. Those are two of our listeners that are fellow Frederick Brown fans. And I've been thinking a lot about this because we talked about, or it's not really a review. I know it's not a review, but if we don't, we have to call it something, because otherwise people go, and we had like, for The Incredible Shrinking Man, I think we had like 1,000 views that were like 30 seconds long. It's like just long enough to figure out, wait, this isn't the movie. So
which I've done on the show.
Yeah. So, but I don't know what else to call it. Review should take people, you know. I really like I think what we do is better described as a vivisection, you know, because the movies are still alive, they're still living, and we take it apart, look at the innards, and then
it's not just a dissection with Jeff, it's a vivisection. We explore every nook and cranny like an English muffin. The butter has to seep into each little nook.
And that's what happens. If I watched this on my own like 20 years ago, I probably would have just thought, you know. But because we're looking at the things that we look at, it makes me look at it with a different set of glasses.
Well, and I love talking to you guys about these things, and I love hearing folks comments on it. I mean, I love these movies, and it's nice to have other weirdos to talk to about it.
Hey,
that's why I love it. Yeah, you heard me.
Own it, Chad. Own it.
All right, thanks.
I've let her get away with everything she said about me this far. So yeah.
Thanks very much, Andy. Appreciate the email. So here's a couple for episode 155. It came from outer space. One's from Mikey Z. You got it, Daphne? You feel like feeling Mikey?
Sure.
Remember, capital letters are like yelling.
Okay.
Oh no.
No, they're titles. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's just respecting the proper
Yes, he
those are
is.
titles. One of the quintessential 50s sci-fi films up there with The Thing from Another World, The Day the Earth Stood Still, War of the Worlds, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
Jack Arnold solidified himself in cinema history with this Ray Bradbury-based tale of travelers who broke down and stayed a couple of days until they could get repairs done on their vehicle. Unfortunately, they ran into Man, whose insecurities almost caused a disastrous outcome. Yes. This was the first instance of a level-headed, non-mad scientist taking the lead to prevent said disaster. Richard Carlson excels as John Putnam, who almost single-handedly holds back a mob. He would continue this type of character throughout the 50s and appear in Arnold's next big Universal hit, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yay!
Yes.
I had seen this many times on TV as a kid, and only as recent as about a decade ago did I experience it in 3D. What a difference that made to the storytelling. Arnold uses smart setups to display the 50s innovation. Example being the spacecraft zooming to Earth in the beginning, the rock slide covering over the crashed ship, the depth of field studio-bound desert scenes, and the sheriff office scenes with the gun in the holster are just examples of his exemplary use of 3D cinematography. The creature was always a bit hokey and was a last-ditch decision by the studio heads to show the alien. I think it was a wrong decision. How much more effective would it have been to leave it up to the audience's imagination to fill in the blanks? Anyway, great podcast, guys, on one of the best 50s genre films. Bit of trivia. Joe Sawyer, who played Frank Dalen, was in a few Abbott and Costello films. Hey, instead of Columbo or a Batman connection, you could do an A&C Abbott and Costello connection. Might be more apropos to the classics edition of Decades of Horror.
Well, Batman was in the classic era time frame there.
Mm-hmm.
But Abbott and Costello too.
Yes.
So
I love Abbott and Costello.
Mm-hmm.
I got so fired up about this movie. It came from outer space that I bought this book.
Oh my God! Look at that!
Wow.
And
You're crazy, Dr. Jones.
It's got all 4 of Ray Bradbury's treatments or scripts,
Oh, wow.
plus the final script, plus letters from Ray Bradbury to Harry Essex or vice versa.
My goodness.
Because it was one of those things we read about that it was so kind of mixed up. And I found it on Amazon, and it was listed at this is actually the front cover.
It's
Cool.
it's really beautiful. Yeah.
It is. It's from Gauntlet Press, which is a specialty press, and they were having a sale, and it was like half price.
Nice.
Amazon was like routing you through some, collector seller that wanted twice as much for it. So it is a fun read. What's the matter with me? Anyway,
Since day one.
and the title is It Came from Outer Space.
Easy enough to do.
Nice.
All right. So then we have another one on It Came from Outer Space from Gregory Crosby. Doc,
That's
you
me.
wanna take a shot at that one?
Yeah, Gregory Crosby says, a classic episode about one of the truly classic science fiction horror films of the 1950s. I'm chagrined to admit that for many years I confused it in my Monster Kid memory with It Conquered the World, Roger Corman's Far Inferior knockoff. Side note, Jeff and Doc remarked that they'd never seen William Cameron Menzies' The Maze, and I'm here to tell you to please watch it as soon as possible. I'm already getting the Grue-Crew's hilarious take on the film's ending and the WTF creature reveal. Highly recommended.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Since I heard about it, I really want to see that movie.
All right. Do I keep reading? There's like
Yep.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. Jeff Mohr's question toward the end of episode 155 about Jack Kirby and Worlds Within Worlds brought to mind this two-part story from Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, issues 142 and 143, in which a mad scientist creates a miniature planet called Transylvania.
Mm-hmm.
All the microscopic people upon it are subjected to universal horror films in their skies and wind up becoming versions of Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, etc. Truly one of the most over-the-top, deliriously weird ideas that only Kirby could have dreamt up during his most frenzied fecund period, the 1970s. I had a copy of this comic as a kid, and this cliffhanger panel at the issue's end haunted me for decades until I finally read the second one.
Here it is.
Oh, cool.
Oh, man.
Jack Kirby in this period was he was on such a gonzo. I mean, he had some of the craziest, wildest ideas, and some of the more far out things he did was in that Jimmy Olsen comic. And on the other hand, he created the New Gods during that period, Darkseid and all those. Commandy, yeah, and there was just crazy, wild stuff. But it was so awesome you couldn't turn away from it. It was just great stuff.
I think maybe the New Gods was something I started sampling early on. I don't remember how long. It didn't last too long, did it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it spanned over the course of a few titles. Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, the New Gods themselves, the book that they had, Forever People, and
Forever People, yeah.
Yeah.
So but it was just the most mind-bending stuff you'll ever want to read in your life. Just great stuff. I love Kirby to death.
Yeah, I'm currently going through the early Commandy issues on online. So
good stuff.
Oh my God, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The what issues?
Commandy.
Oh, okay.
That's
the Last Boy on Earth.
Last Boy on Earth. It's more. It's kind of like a Planet of the Apes, but a little bit
type
further than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We have one
talking comics.
One last piece of feedback. Episode 156, The City of the Dead, from Perfect Mask 1, says, thanks so much for covering this film and looking forward to the crew's views.
The crew's views.
Love the podcast, but recent picks have been a bit of a tough watch for me.
Oh no, which ones?
But he's got a laughing emoji there. So
interesting.
Yeah, he's probably talking about the month of May still.
80s and 70s. I mean, who do we have? Somebody's giving us a hard time about The Killing Kind.
Oh my gosh, did they ever? It was great.
And,
I loved it. It was the best comment ever.
And then we just did Shriek of the Mutilated, so that'll be coming out. So, and then anyway, and now we're doing 3 on a Meat Hook. This is kind of our 70s version of the 80s May.
We're continuing the month of May here.
Yep. All right. That's it for this episode. Thanks, Perfect Mask. Thanks, Gregory.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mikey.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
We love all feedback, even if it's if it's negative towards us. I don't sleep that night. I mean, I cry myself to sleep, but we still love it anyway.
Yeah. It's part of the deal. Just part of the deal.
My pillow's so wet in the morning.
So yeah, keep the feedback coming, folks. We love feedback, and also, what else?
The other thing,
Patreon. We have a Patreon account, Patreon website. You can get Decades of Horror like a week and a half early before it goes public. Yeah. So anyway, every 2 weeks we'll focus on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up is one chosen by Chad. What are we watching, Chad?
House of Dracula.
Dracula.
Nothing 45.
Yay.
Universal Monsters.
Yay. Back to it. And we don't do that many 40s, so good. I like
It's a fun
short.
one. It's a fun one.
It's a monster mash.
Yeah.
It is.
A
And
graveyard
it's
smash.
available on the Play Now Media.
Thank you, Doc. I
channels.
wasn't going to say it.
What did you say? Why do I?
Oh no,
Somebody
Doc
said
just was
Monster
singing the
Mash.
Monster Mash.
Oh,
And I wanted to, but I didn't, so he did.
the
I'll just get copyright hits on music for
Sorry, Jeff.
who am I? What is the meaning of this? I met somebody brought up Fireside Theater a while ago. I'm thinking maybe it was Gregory Crosby.
It wasn't me.
And I was going to ask him. I
I
forgot
think,
to mention it during the comment. I might have been a different DOH too, but I was going to ask him if the phrase "and there's Hamburg all over the highway in Mystic, Connecticut" means anything to him. So that's a message for you, Gregory. Let me know if that rings a
Secret
bell.
message.
I'm Googling it right now.
All right.
Get my decoder ring out.
Plenty of ways to stay in touch. Send feedback to
Drink Ovaltine.
Magazine.com. Leave comments on Gruesome Magazine's YouTube channel, or you can check it out on Gruesome Magazine's HNR and DOH podcast Facebook group, or on the website gruesomemagazine.com. But we love comments. That's what we do this for. It's like we discover stuff. You guys know more than we do, and let us know about it, and then we can talk about that too. So we love you.
It's how we all learn.
Yes. That's how we find those ones we don't know about. Oh man, I love suggestions.
Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the classic era, as only decades of horror can do it. Thank you, Doc, Chad, Daphne.
Yeah. Go on.
Say goodnight.
Good night. Good night.
Another
Good night.
episode that went on longer than the movie. Good night, everybody.
Gruesome Magazine.